Alright, so I was gonna do monsters for the next video, guys, but honestly, after queuing into it so much, I actually got really tired of playing it against it, so I didn't really want to play it for myself, so I decided to hard tech against it. Now, this deck is really good in a lot of different matchups. It's really good in a Northern Realms matchup. It's really good in a Nature's Gift matchup. It's really good in a Skellige Rain matchup, not so much the Reckless Flurry or anything like that, but the Rain it really excels with. And anything that's just really boosty, I find is just a perfect matchup for this deck right here. Commandos does really well in that matchup as well. So, obviously if you're playing against a lot of line pockets, or you're playing against a lot of precision strike right now, or you're playing against maybe a lot of reckless flurry, this isn't for you. But if you're playing against those really greedy boosty decks like the mages, seen some archgriffin rolling around, you have of course monsters being just an atrocity, it makes the game unfun in some cases. Play this because you're gonna have the time of your life, and I haven't had as much fun playing Gwent in months. So let's get to it. I've done something like this before, and you're gonna see over the last few months. Maybe I did the Iterin revs. I've done Madoc revs, and now this is just like the Madoc revs 2.0. So let's get into it right away. Now, this deck doesn't have a lot of points. The main focus of the deck is to deny points, so keep that in mind. It feels weak when you play it. There's just a lot of hidden value with the removal that we're going to get, so just be patient. Now, we have Oneiromancy and Amphibious Assault. These are going to help us get our cards out of there. So usually when I have decks that are playing less strong cards, I just like to play more cards, right? So keep that in mind. We're going to be thinning out quite well with this deck and playing pretty much everything we have in here. So we have those guys. Phalabor's perfect. We have a lot of things that are going to help kind of tee up a perfect 3-2-1 with the Phalabor, so that's going to help with removal. This is meant for the Scoia'tael, like Nature's Gift matchup, where you have a lot of the Whisperers on the board, or anything that's like tokens and swarmy. It does really well in the Skellige matchup just because of all the Sirens or Crows or whatever the case may be. So Phalabor is just awesome. It always gets the 3-2-1, so it's usually playing for 13 points. No questions asked, so it's really good to have. Now, Heatwave is one of the slowest plays in the deck, but it's, again, maybe one of the smartest plays in the deck. I think that, it's probably important to have something right here. If we want to banish something that just gets out of control, we have the ability to, whether it's an artifact or whether it's a tall unit. So I like to put Karathi in a lot of decks. So there you have it. It's kind of like an auto include with a lot of my control decks. Now, Shani is going to be the MVP here. So I like to play a nice, I guess you could say long round one, whether it's abusing red coin or just, trying to drag it on to get more value on our patience units. So we have to kind of keep in mind that we want to have like a 10 card round 3, or at the very least 9 cards, so we can proc Shani twice, and get 2 units brought back from it. Ideally we're going to be looking for the Banard students, but let's not jump ahead here. We do have backup targets as well, and that's just going to clean up house. It's going to do really well for us. So Shani's awesome, and they spend most of their effort trying to remove what Shani brings back most of the time, opposed to Shani herself, thinking that we're not going to do it twice. So it just works really well here. Adalia is great because a lot of decks that we're playing against have random miscellaneous pings that they can put on stuff like that. So Queen Adalia is going to make a copy of something and give it a shield. Now, what we're really looking for here is either an archer, because they're a little bit of weaker unit, right? 2 base power, 2 armor, something like that. Desperate times we can look for a revenant, but again, it's mostly going to be the archer or the Banard student, so keep that in mind when playing Adalia. Madoc's great because what it helps us do is sort of free up some, obviously deck space is going to be thinning it out a little bit, and I put Madoc in so many decks just because I like the thinning aspect of it. It's like the Flying Redanian with Syndicate. It just kind of reminds me of that. It was just why I played. It's around the same cost, but it has that other effect. So again, I put Madoc in a lot of decks because I value the consistency, and I'm willing to put in some removal cards, because I like control to kind of complement it. So it's a great card, and I think more people should play it. So there's Madoc. Igni's awesome because what we're going to be doing, guys, is we're going to be saving pings. And, you know, depending on how much control we're playing against, it can decide how greedy we're going to get. So if we're playing against a deck that has virtually no control, then we're going to be letting the charges from the Banard students, the archers and everything just float and then key up the perfect Igni at the end of the game. It's going to look beautiful. You know, if we're playing against a lot of control, then we obviously want to use our charges to get the return on our investment there and not, you know, get no damage for it. And then maybe we mulligan back Igni, but I would say 9 times out of 10, Igni's been getting a lot of good value this season. So, good to have. Vincent Mice is probably one of the most underrated cards from Northern Realms right now, just because there's so many strong cards in the meta. This card is crazy. Think about it. It has Zeal, so we could use it right away. Order on melee, set the power of a non-boosted unit to 1. So that takes care of your Melusine. That takes care of all your monsters' tall units, right? I can't even get you started on how many there is. Syndicate has that new bounty dude that's 12p, right? So you're playing against, let's say, Skellige. You have, you know, even old classic warriors. You're having the great swords and stuff like that. There's tons of tall units that you're going to get a huge return with Vincent on, and it's only 6 provision, right? We could take it out with Amphibious Assault, which is great, so we never have a problem finding it, whether it's with Onero or Amphibious. So good to have. Just because we're able to break things down so easily with all our pings. I like Forbidden Magic because we want to keep it unitless, we want to keep it at 13 units and keep it nice and trim. So Forbidden Magic allows us to spawn a Revenant and get that on our side of the board, and it's awesome. Revenants carry, it's like our Swarm. That's where our points come from a lot of the time, right? We're denying points, but our points come from the Revenants. So you want to keep those in mind. I don't like to have more than one in hand at a time. I don't like to have more than one Revenant in hand at a time, and I definitely do not like to have more than one of each in my hand at a time. Usually, I look for tucking the Revenants back if I have access to a Forbidden Magic, because you can always AA for the Revenant, right? So keep that in mind. Revenants are less of a priority than Forbidden Magic in this case. And retaining archers, I dedicate one to round 1, and the second one to round 2 or 3 if I'm trying to win the round. We want to keep 1 per round. Now, what I generally do is you could do like 1 with a Dahlia, so that's your 1, and then use technically the other 2 for later. That's perfect. You know, if you're able to pull into your Banards and you don't have to Dahlia those, that's ideal, right? Because then we can get 3 archers in the back row with our leader, and you know, because we're making a copy of it and boosting it, and 3 archers is going to set up a lot of pings for the Falibor, for all the bombs, especially the Dancing Star, and for, of course, the Igni, right? So that's kind of how I play it. And then we have just some cheap bombs here. If I was to substitute one of the bombs, I would probably say Red Haze. I've been noticing like it's not always getting the best value, and maybe we could benefit from putting like a Spores or, you know, something like that. It's hard to say. I mean, the slot's a little bit awkward, but Red Haze does get some surprise value sometimes. So I've been mulliganing it back when I get it. Now, I'm not always disappointed when I find it. So again, if you guys think of something else for that spot, by all means. Squirrel is good to have, but we have 2 Northern Winds. These are banishing cards, right? There's a lot of cards that are going to be getting, you know, value come round 3 or whatever the case. We could ping something down and finish the kill with this to give it the banish ability, or if it's 4 power, easy banish. You know, Squirrel is nice for the Echo cards, but if you're running into a lot of matchups where they're not playing Echo, or you're running into more control cases where you need to give some armor to the archers, you could consider putting in a Royal Guard. Where is he? This guy. So you can put in maybe one of these in here. I like to keep it to 13 units just to keep it trim, like I said. But Squirrel can go and that can go in potentially. But I'm showing you the version that I've been playing most often. Just to kind of give you guys some reference to the record. It got me to pro rank from, I guess, rank 2 whenever I made my last video. With a lot of ease. I've been playing in pro for a little bit here. So 35 and 18. 2-to-1 ratio, more or less. You know, we have the tie in there. So it just kind of goes to show, like, if it's played correctly, it's going to clean up on ladder. And, you know, I would recommend giving it a try for yourself. I have another cool Skellige deck. I've been working with Arnagod and stuff like that the last couple of days, so I want to show you guys that one next. but let's just get this video out there. And we're almost at 500 subscribers, so it means a lot to me that you guys support and continue to support. And we'll be back very shortly with another video.
You bore me, so vanish.
So, should we warm up with a fire spell?
Cut my paws off, I bite you to death.
Mock not the creeds of others. It's neither polite nor safe. The sky'll burn with the eternal fire!
Tide rolls in, tide rolls out. It's not anything you can possibly explain.
Modern Freyr is patient, but she brooks no insult. Sure, be glad to.
The king! The country! The freedom!
Take my mere life and grant them your strength in return!
We retreat! We hide! Surrender with Trance! Fill our hearts with roar!
The traitors will pay for what they did.
Fight! Name! Kill! For the king!
Might not like me, but you sure as shit need me.
We retreat! We hide! Surrender with Trance!
Just great.
Anything alive would be dead now. Killer spell.
Fill our hearts with roar!
Poor bees they who have no knowledge.
Cut my paws off, I bite you to death!
Hey, listen here. Listen well.
I can hide your stench.
What do you need?
I hear your feathers whisper.
Oh, be glad to.
Wager I can cast one with me foot.
One who is blind can yet see.
So, shall we warm up with a fire spell?
I can do a great deal more for you.
So many of them, I'd have to aim to miss.
upon the crest of the waves, neath your wings outstretched.
For the king!
Show mercy, we beg you. Grant me death swift and clean.
Might not like me, but you sure as shit need me.
Reach out. Ah, swore will stop it.
We serve her who is virgin, mother, and crone.
Don't you pester me.
Damn it.
In the universe of which even the sages have not
The
dreamt.
country! For freedom!
Meet me ghoulie. Looky here. Have a look at that. Like falling stars.
What is your wish? What do you desire, my lady of the seas?
Modern Freyr is patient, but she brooks no insult.
Accept our sacrifice!
I shan't fail. I cannot fail.
Crush those vermin!
Wager I can cast her with me foot.
Scurvy? Nah, fake elven years.
Doubt I'll ever finish these school loans.
So, shall we warm up with a fire spell?
If you could just sign the confirmation of receipt.
How did I fare, Mistress Letitia? Well this time, yes?
Dark clouds gather over Temeria.
The day is nigh when all shall behold my beauty.
Tomorrow we sup at home! If the king demands a head, I'll give him yours.
I'm a medic. I tend to know what I'm doing when I prescribe something.
Ship ahoy!
Sure. Be glad to.
Hocus bang, kaboom! Shit, how'd that go?
These dogs have no honor.
My great-granddaughter will do
Have a look at that. Like falling stars. For Lyria and Rivia! Burn with the eternal fire! Victory is mine, whatever the cost.
Are you certain? I do it differently.
Fall overboard and I'm not jumping in after you.
For king! For country! For freedom!
Fight! Fight! Kill!
And it's all for me grog. Me knocking grog.
For the king!
I could be your great-grandfather's great-grandfather.
We've a hero in our midst! I hate mortals.
We retreat! We hide! Surrender with strength!
What is it I fancy today?
Hocus pocus. Bang. Kaboom. Shit, how'd that go?
Panicking!
Have a look at that. Like falling stars.
Hearts, livers, awful deliciousness. I sense your pain. I see your fear. And last.
You've met your match, puppet. Our world is in harmony. The traitors will pay for what they did.
Kill! Out of the way, dogs!
Wouldn't touch a hair on my head, she said.
So many of them, I'd have to aim to miss.
Two feet of foe. They'll scurry along the floor.